Of deplorables.
They call them rogues.
They claim to values or religion.
And they say they're outlaws.
These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
War Room presents Rebels, Rogues, and Outlaws.
You set out to take Vienna! Take Vienna!
The national bestseller by longtime Bannon producer Dan Fluette. Take a journey through the pictorial history of War Room in a culture that celebrates the weak. Show your support by standing with the rebels. Go to doitfluette.com or scan the QR code on your screen. Use the code RAV20 for 20% off your order. Stand with the rebels and never back down.
What happens when the fourth turning meets fifth generation warfare.
A commentator, international social media sensation, and former Navy intelligence veteran.
This is Human Events with your host, Jack Posobiec.
Christ is king!
All right, folks, Jack Posobiec. We're live here, Human Events Daily, Phoenix, Arizona. Charlie Kirk studio. Joining me, first time in person, Mike Cernovich.
Yeah, we took the trip out. Wouldn't miss Charlie's memorial for the world.
Appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, and I think everybody has to come together, and that was what Charlie was good at, was great at. Because you think about how many people, Alex Clark, Channel, you have all these people. Turning point chapters everywhere, but the one at whatever Kansas State only has one. People don't know all this. That's the thing. They find him in 2024 and they're like, oh, okay, this is the iteration of Charlie that always existed.
Right.
And whereas with you or me, like no, or Tucker here earlier, no, this was a young man in a hurry. This was a young man of ambition. And in addition to the Christianity and moral grounding of it, I just wish more people, especially younger men, would take away that message where this was a young man in a hurry. He was starting wherever he could. He wasn't thinking, give me all of this free stuff, because you see this online a lot of times. Guys like, why don't I have the six-figure job? I don't have this. Dude, Charlie didn't have this. And Charlie was a uniquely talented person. Charlie was hitting up Foster Freeze, wasn't on an elevator for 15 grand or 17 grand, I think the story goes, where Charlie did an elevator pitch, gets his first few checks, and then Charlie...
I think he told us it was a stairwell. He blocked him on the stairs.
Yeah, and it was 17 grand or 14 grand, but it was somewhere in that range.
And Charlie was a tall guy.
Yeah, exactly. Foster Freeze wasn't going anywhere.
Like, who's this guy? It's like security, but no, it's like, all right.
And then Charlie was flying people out.
But Foster listened to him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too, is that, because people miss this, too, that Charlie would be generous with his platform.
Yep.
And that's something that you don't see a lot.
Yeah.
Where someone gets a platform and then it's like, boom, this is me. This is all about me. And but Charlie was never about that. And plus, because Charlie, this is something I was having a conversation with when I cited CNN last week, first time. And she was nice. She was nice off camera. I thought she was fine on camera. and people thought she was doing a gotcha. I don't think she was doing a gotcha. But I said something. I said, what's interesting with Charlie, just generationally speaking, he wasn't Gen Z. He was close, but he wasn't Gen Z. He still believed in the real world.
Right.
And so that was chapters, that was grounded, that was setting up tables, that was being on campus as he was. He believed in the real world, but you do see that so much more with the generation that's coming up. It's the online world is the real world, and the real world is like de minimis compared to that.
Yeah, the techno-gnosis, that the spiritual affliction,
precisely
taking over the entire country. Even Gen X or tech bro people, where they see a beautiful landscape and they go, "We need to put solar panels over here."
Yep.
And take away nature, and we all need to live stacked up like bugs. But now I was thinking about Charlie. He does RNC. He raises money. He was always flying people to things. People don't. That's the thing, and that's what frustrates me about all of this is that. They see Charlie at a given point in time and they don't realize, no, he was flying commercial and he flew all those kids out for the Black Leadership Summit and the White House.
Yep. That
was all Charlie doing it. Blexit, that was Charlie doing it. You talk about how
when he did the events, if you were a student, especially if you were a chapter student, your ticket was subsidized.
Yep.
Your ticket and your hotel and even your airfare could be subsidized through Turning Point. So he would take donor money. And it wasn't like he would put it in his pocket.
Yep.
He would say, how do I use this to grow the organization and do something for the people, the kids who are trying to come up? So when I was coming up in college, we had nothing like that. I was in the college Republicans, right? And we got like a box.
Yeah.
We got like a box from the big party. So here's your box. And there's like a banner in it and like a clipboard. Oh, thanks so much. I really appreciate that. And then figure it out. So we had no turning point. And you didn't have that. Whereas Charlie, so it's like, where's all the money going?
Yeah.
Right? Where's all the money going, Karl Rove? And Karl Rove, by the way, I love his op-ed, right? It wasn't them. It wasn't them.
Talk about taking Charlie's name in vain.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Like let's call that the first commandment of this: Thou shalt not take Charlie Kirk's name in vain.
And that was again the big threat that Charlie poses. People think that they can be isolated in an island, and they're logged online, and that their brain becomes reprogrammed. It becomes a worship of gnosis. This is a spiritual component that I think the greatest spiritual affliction people have is not being embodied anymore.
Yeah.
And they're connecting to the internet, and then they get a little bit of fame, and that's what you see Charlie never fell into. Was when Charlie built things out, all he could think about was how he could build out everybody else. From if you're a college kid, a high school kid, to even if you're a big name.
Hold that thought. Right back. Human Events Daily. Mike Cernovich, Real America's Voice.
Yep, your worst nightmare. Your car broke down. Now you're worried if it's going to cost you a fortune in repair bills. Unless you already called CarShield, the legit #1 auto protection company in the country. When you're protected with a plan through CarShield, the process is smooth like ice and done in as little as 3 steps. 1. First, the tow truck takes your car to the shop. The cost of towing, covered when you got a plan through CarShield. Next, you probably need to get around while your vehicle's being repaired, right? 2, plans through CarShield have rental car options too. Then comes the best part. 3, when you pick up your vehicle, you don't have a big repair bill to worry about. CarShield administrators get your covered repairs paid directly to the shop, so you're back on the road with no worries. Call now to get an affordable plan through CarShield for your vehicle before it's too late. When you call CarShield, whether you got a small problem like a power window motor that could cost a few $100s, or a big problem like an engine or transmission that could cost you thousands of dollars, you're taken care of. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the country, and their administrators have paid out more than $1 billion in auto repairs. That's billion with a B. CarShield is the choice that gives you the CarShield guarantee. Your rate never goes up, and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Look, it's inevitable. As your car or truck ages, the parts and components are gonna fail. It's not worth the risk. Call CarShield now.
Waiting until your car breaks down is too late. Call CarShield for coverage on up to 5,000 parts and get the CarShield guarantee, where your rate never goes up and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Call 800-653-8201. 800-653-8201.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again.
Please scan the QR code to donate $10 or more to support these American patriots.
Thank you for standing in the gap.
Nothing will stand in our way, and our golden age has just begun.
This is Human Events with Jack Posobiec.
Now it's time for everyone to understand what America First truly means.
Welcome to the Second American Revolution.
Jack Posobiec back live, Charlie Kirk studio, Turning Point USA. You're looking at the vigil right now out front. I'm here in studio in my seat, of course not in Charlie's seat, that's empty, but next to Charlie's empty seat, we got Mike Cernovich joining us now in the studio for the very first time. Mike, we've been going through all this, and one of my favorite things about you is that you can go small and you can go deep, but you can also go wide. And your big picture view is always so interesting to listen to. Where are we at right now?
Yeah, the a lot of it is energy and vibe and feeling it, and the cosmic shift when that happened, when that was already forming, of course. When Charlie died, it crystallized a moment for everybody that it seems trite, right? Like I'm getting up there in years now. When you're younger, the people be like, "Oh, tomorrow's not promised. You could die any day." And you're just like, shut up, old man, get out. What are you talking about? Right. And then a lot of people, especially young people, realize like, oh, wow, this is true. This is a guy that I was just watching and he's gone and he had everything going for him. The next moment isn't promised for me at all. So we have all this debate about, is AI going to take the jobs and is this and the techno-gnosis forming and everything else? But you're going to die. You're going to die. One, are you prepared to meet Christ? Are you prepared for the judgment day? I think is a question that a lot of people were having. But it's easy. The way the devil tricks us, I read this great little Orthodox fable where I'm not going to repeat the whole story, but it's like the Aesop packaging wrap up. And the devil gives us with our curiosity. Oh yeah, go read that book on Buddhism and go read that book on Christianity and
try that out.
What flavor of Protestantism do you want? And well, maybe that's flawed. What about Catholicism? What about Orthodoxy? And you're endlessly lost in curiosity, and that's where the devil keeps you.
Fruit of the tree of knowledge.
Yeah, because you're there and you feel like you're making traction, but you're actually not. You're spinning your wheels, and then boom, you're dead. And now it's judgment, right? And I think a lot of us, myself included, are reminded that Judgment Day is coming for all of us. Even for Charlie Kirk, who's a better person than I was. I'm not going to even pretend that isn't true.
Best of all of us.
So getting your soul right, I think, is the big picture. A lot of people realize that's why churches were full. Our friends volunteered at church, and they said, you better get here early. It's been like...
It was like Easter Sunday.
Yeah. So, and the religious thing, get your soul right. And I don't get into this. I don't get into ecumenicalism. I'm not going to say everything's right. I don't get into what is right. I always say you go to church and figure it out for yourself. I'm not here to do Christian apologetics, but Judgment Day is coming quicker than you know. Antichrist is already here, right? Everybody's obsessed with prophecies and all these is here. Antichrist is here. Judgment Day is coming. When? You don't know. The second thing that I think a lot of people realized was that you need to have ambition in life. You need to do things in life. Also because of the death. Josiah Trenum had a great homily on death with Tucker that I think the Orthodox Christians and Catholics do well, even though it's called like idolatry, because it's not, because they're like, oh, why do they have these pictures of the dead? We as a culture have become we become in denial of our physical death of our physical bodies and a denial of our soul. So we just live, especially if you live in suburbia. Oh, I got a cool life. I walk into air-conditioned studio from an air-conditioned car. I barely even break a sweat in the day. I don't even go to the gym. I'm hungry. I eat what I want. And we're living in denial of deprivation. We're not fasting. We're living in denial of death. And the Charlie Kirk thing shook everybody. you're going to die. And that's something that, again, it could sound trite if you're younger. Oh, shut up, old man, or whatever. But you are going to die. So you do need to face the judgment of God. And then secondly, as your soul is departing the body, as you're floating away, what's that moment going to be like for you? Are you going to think, you know what? I left an impact on this world. I did things. Like, I was here on a spiritual journey from God. My soul was embodied.
A spiritual test.
A test. And I worked to sanctify my soul, which people can read my Twitter and think, oh, what do you do? Hey, man, I'm not trying to claim. I'm saying go to the priest. I'm not the priest. I don't want anybody to be like, oh, I read you, and I know and I completely understand. That's my own struggle, too. That's my own struggle against my own sins and vices and everything else. But it is a good reminder, like, oh, am I leaning into pride too much? Am I leaning into ego too much? Because you can have a militancy about you and a warrior aspect about you, but it has to be for a higher cause, and that's the sublimation of ego. So that's what Charlie did. Charlie built up all of these big things, not to glorify himself or to create an idol of himself, but to glorify God.
It wasn't Charlie Kirk, USA.
It was to glorify God, though.
Yes.
Even more deeper than Turning Point, or even more deeper than The Country.
Well, and when you go back, and Andrew Colvette's been talking about this too, when you go back and watch these, it was billed as like a political debate, but then when you're going to watch it, you say, wait a minute, he's slipping Christ in there as much as possible, and every question he turns it back to that. So it was like a black op, right? It was like special operations, get everyone together, and that's the boom, hit him with the gospel, boom, hit him with the word, boom, hit him with this. It was like a secret revival happening right in front of our eyes.
Revival is great, and I think the other bigger, the bigger macro trend, I think on the micro, everybody has realized memento mori. You need to meditate on your death the way the samurai did, not as in a negative thing to feel.
The way of the Bushido, the first step is your step towards death.
Every day I meditate on death. Every day I imagine 1,000 arrows be thrust into me, right? Every day you meditate on death. And if you're not of a spiritual mind, you think, well, that sounds morbid, but I think it's the opposite. Charlie meditated on death often.
Yes.
People think, oh, no, meditation on death does not mean you're dreading death. You're just waking up every day that I could be struck down today. And I think the geopolitical trend, at least within America and American Christians, is recognizing that there was a inversion of morality to where somehow we had given the left moral authority. We'd allowed them to scold us. Oh, don't fire Jimmy Kimmel. What about they weaponize little slivers of Christianity, but they're going to kill you, dude. The people telling you how to express your Christianity and how to live your values and how to create it, they're going to kill you. They're going to kill you, and then they're going to piss on your grave. They're going to mock your children. They're going to wish that terrible things happen to them. This is the evil that you're up against. So in what world do you let these Decepticons, these subversives, these people who are clearly tools of the demon, make you feel insecure about how you express your Christianity? When that's what they want for you. So you see this now happening, especially in the conservative Christian right, where they go, dude, they killed Charlie. I don't want to hear you meddlers. I don't want to hear you scallywags. I don't want you common scolds telling us how we need to live and how we need to express our Christianity and how we need to build America, because
unity.
Yeah.
You need unity.
You know who brings unity? The Father. Yes. Dad says, I'm in charge.
Yes.
I love you, and I'm going to raise you and look out for you, but I'm the dad.
And that's a father's,
and you're the kids.
A father's love is correction of error. So in my faith, in Catholicism, we actually refer to a spiritual work of mercy is admonishing the sinner.
Yes.
That is a work of mercy to admonish the sinner. So it's not this whole like oh, I'm better than you kind of thing. It's whoa, something is off here. You better get right because Daddy's coming.
No, it's the opposite. Like, I watch Josiah Trenum videos, and there's another YouTube Orthodox monk, Spiritum Bailey, I think his name is, and just by watching them, I feel rebuked. It just, without them even saying, I'm like, man, because I was watching Josiah, and I go, dude, what am I doing arguing with people about subplots of Charlie's thing? What in the world is wrong with me? Like, Charlie died, his family's grieving. What am I doing? Because that's ego, and you get, drawn into it.
I almost did it yesterday. Yeah. There was one piece of it where I was like, I could feel it, and I was like, oh, and then the Twitter fingers get going, and you're like, oh, I can debunk this and I can jump in here. And then it's like, number one, that's not what I shouldn't be doing. But number two, that's not what Charlie would do.
Right.
That's not what Charlie would do. Charlie would say, have it out. Yeah. Do your little bickering, your bantering. But at the end of the day, we got a mission.
Yeah.
And that's what Charlie was all about. And it's like the kaleidoscope, like you said. It's that Charlie's dealing with a kaleidoscope world of a coalition, of a right, of a people that's going up against evil. That Charlie walked in the face of evil, and he obviously knew the threats, he knew everything, he did it anyway.
Right, and that's why the Charlie legacy is when you're diplomatic like Charlie, anybody can sort of read into things a certain way. So then what I was doing was I was having my own and then I thought, I watched that Josiah thing. I was actually at the park with my kids, so I was listening to it, and I thought, you're right. We as Christians, we are just not comfortable enough with death. His soul hasn't been reposed. It's a 40-day mourning thing. And I'm here on Twitter debating the trajectory of a bullet.
So,
God help me.
It's funny you mention that because my Orthodox wife, she's only worn black since the day. And then someone said, well, why you just, she said, no, 40 days. And that's it. That's just 40 days.
Yeah, so there really is a sense of like, just God have mercy. What am I doing? And I think that a strong, because the spiritual zeitgeist, we left the toxic feminine, which feminine isn't toxic, but we could talk about Mary and all this. I don't know, maybe later, but
the chaos.
The integrated feminine or the divine feminine, as the Wu call it, is Mary, Mother of God, the mother of humanity. And what we weren't in the divine feminine, again, that's a little sacrilegious, but the idea is that we were in the toxic feminine era of abortions, get drunk, party, do ratchet things. And now we're in the era where we're like, that doesn't work. That's open borders and murder.
Amen. Mike Cernovich, thanks for being here, man.
A pleasure.
I really appreciate it, and see you this weekend.
Yep.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please go follow Mike. Make sure you're following and getting all of his, got some videos coming out that I think you're going to really like that talk about this and so much more. Memento Mori, Tempus Fugit. Time flies. Remember, you are mortal. Right now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul. Something shocking is happening with gold that the mainstream media won't report. Paper contracts for gold rarely result in physical delivery. But today, billionaires and major banks are demanding actual gold bars at 10 times the normal rate. Why the panic for physical gold? These institutional giants understand our $37 trillion debt means we're on a path to currency collapse. The good news, you can make the same move. A gold IRA from my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group lets you move your IRA or 401k into gold. To learn more, click below to get a free info kit on gold. Throughout history, gold has endured where currencies fail. Right now, the biggest players in the finance industry are proving this time won't be different. Click below for your free info kit from Birch Gold and diversify your savings now.
Fellow Americans, did you know a war is being waged right now for how you spend your hard-earned dollars? Over 100 countries worldwide are preparing to switch to a digital currency. Now, this means cash will be replaced by money governments can monitor and track. This tracking makes it possible to collect data from every purchase you make and the ability to decide what you can buy and when you can buy it. What's more, your assets can be frozen or even seized. I'm appalled at such an assault on financial privacy. My friends at Swiss America have a report called The Secret War on Cash with an action plan to protect your financial privacy. So please, call or text the number on your screen for a free copy. With the growing reality of a government-backed digital currency, the time to act is now. So call or text the number on your screen for your free Secret War report.
To avoid digital threats, just turn on NordVPN. Improve your protection against trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. Get the deal now.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page Publishing can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you.
Call or scan for your free writer's guide today.
Hey, you know, you talk about influencers. These are influencers, and they're friends of mine. Jack Posobiec. Where's Jack? Jack, who's done a great job.
All right, Jack Posobiec, we are back live here, Human Events Daily. We're in Phoenix, Arizona, the Charlie Kirk studio. Very honored to have the not only the author of a new book, but someone who needs no introduction. Erik Trump joins us now on Human Events Daily. Erik.
Jack, thanks, buddy. It's great to be on.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. And this book you put out, the timing is unbelievable because we had been, of course, in discussions, and we'd actually already booked you for the show, and you wrote this book about the siege that your family has been under, and all of MAGA has been under, and everything they've done to anyone with the name Trump or associated. And then 2 days later, they kill Charlie Kirk. I've got to. I'll ask you, as awful as it is, I think people are missing, or I suppose the wider narrative, what's missing is that this isn't the first time violence has been used. This isn't the first time tactics has been used to silence the Trump right, the Trump movement. This has been going on all along, and what's only different now is that it's ratcheted up.
Yeah. Jack, it's the entire premise of the book, right? They tried to silence us for the last 10 years. They put gag orders on my father. So he couldn't talk, he couldn't defend himself, he couldn't run a campaign as they threw these nonsense sham trials at him. They ripped him off of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. They turned down all of our dials. They turned down your dials. They turned down all of my dials. For an 8-year period of time, I didn't gain one follower because you couldn't even search and find me on these platforms. That's how crooked they were. They wanted to take away our voice. They wanted to make sure that our voice wasn't projected to the masses. They didn't want Charlie standing on the very stage that he was on. They didn't want me doing hundreds, if not thousands, of campaign rallies in all the swing states across the country. Jack, it's that voice that got us to win against Hillary Clinton, right? We self-funded that campaign. We were at a 5-to-1 fundraising gap against Hillary without knowing a damn thing about politics. And we somehow knocked her off because we were willing to stand on that stage every day, and we could be loud, and we had a presence, and we had backbone, and people liked our message. But they wanted to silence us. They wanted to bankrupt us. They raided our homes. They weaponized the FBI, the DOJ. They came after us every single day. They tried to divide our family. They made up the Russia hoax. They impeached my father the first time. They impeached him the second time. They made up slanderous lies about his Supreme Court justices. I got 112 subpoenas, and I've never done a damn thing wrong. They used every power of the federal government to come after me, after the company that I run, because my father had constitutional protections. They couldn't hit him in the Oval Office other than trying to impeach him. So guess what they did? They came after me every single day. And then I got criticized because I was on Sean Hannity, and I said, you know what, they've tried everything, and they failed. They failed to take him off the ballot in Colorado, and they failed to take him off the ballot in Maine, and they failed to silence him because when they did, he popped up Truth Social, so he still had a voice. And you know what, Sean, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to kill him. And Jack, I told him that. Everybody goes, oh, Erik's an alarmist, Erik's a conspiracy theorist, but you saw the writing on the wall. And sure enough, 6 weeks later, guess what? They tried to kill him in Butler. Then they tried to kill him at the golf course. And you saw what they did to Steve Scalise. And, you saw what they tried to do to Kavanaugh. And then you saw what they did to your good friend, my good friend, Don's great friend, our family's great friend. They put a bullet because they wanted to silence the greatest movement and the top voices of that movement. And that's exactly what this book is about. I started writing this 3 years ago when it was just the legal lawfare. And then it got into the violence. And there's never been a book that's rang more true than right in this moment today after what we all went through last week.
No, and Charlie's assassination is just something that I really hope, and I'm just going to say, I hope it's a cliche, but turning point for our nation where we refer to the history of America as Charlie Kirk assassination and after, because we need a response. And we can't do this anymore. We can't play this. Charlie, all he wanted to do was talk. He was the one guy who said, I'm going to be here on campus at this time. Come on down. And if you don't agree with me, I'm going to put you in the very here on campus at this time. Come on down. And if you don't agree with me, I'm going to put you in the very front of the line. He didn't have to do that. And we told him the threats. He knew the threats. He did it anyway. And Eric, that's what I think, the same theme that you write about in the book. They don't want to talk anymore, do they?
No, they don't want to talk. Hey, the bullets are only going one way. It's really interesting. I mean, they would call Charlie a Nazi, and they would call him a fascist, and they'd call me a fascist, and they'd call all of it, it was identity politics. But yet, isn't it really interesting that they're the ones that are dressing up in black and sitting on top of rooftops with sniper rifles, shooting over college kids that are celebrating free speech? I mean, it feels like it's a lot more like fascism than healthy dialogue, where you see these beautiful kids and they're celebrating the fact that they finally have a voice in college campuses because of a guy like Charlie Kirk. But it is a turning point. Here's the turning point. Everybody talks about how Charlie only, it was the youth movement, and that's clearly what he was focused on. But I had a 75-year-old Jamaican guy come up to me the other day. He pointed at his heart. He goes, I am Charlie Kirk. Eric, I'm sorry for your loss, but I am Charlie Kirk. And I'm sitting there saying, a guy not born in this country, certainly not the age demographic, and he's literally aligning with Charlie Kirk. And then you look at Pretoria in South Africa, and they've got a march in honor of Charlie Kirk. And you see millions of people marching in London, across the London Bridge, and in honor of Charlie Kirk. And you see the masses in this country, right? I mean, even kids, I have employees who have literally written me emails and text messages. Hey, my daughter was literally crying. She's 17 years old. She idolized Charlie Kirk. It was the youth vote. It was the adult vote. It was all the sane people, all the people that are sick and tired of the violence, right? And it is migrating all those people over, and it's people all around the world. And so, I always talk about unintended consequences. Doing what they did was the greatest unintended consequence. They actually gave Charlie a bigger voice and a bigger platform, given what they did to him, than maybe he could have ever even had, because people realize how dirty, how nasty, how evil these people are. And 99.9% of Americans are great people who don't want this nonsense. And wow, did it backfire on them. And so I really do believe, Jack, that this is a turning point. There's just no question about it. This is a turning point.
No, there is. Eric, can we hold you over? We've got a quick break, but I'd love to hold you over if you have a couple of minutes.
Great.
All right, we're holding on, folks. Erik Trump is with us. He's commenting the death of Charlie Kirk. He's got his new book, Under Siege, and that's exactly what's going on. Our country is under siege. His family has been under siege. And Charlie Kirk was killed, not in an accident, in an intentional act of unspeakable evil. We'll be right back here, Human Events Daily, with America's Voice.
Yikes. Leaky refrigerator coil card.
Oh no.
But your future is bright with an American Home Shield warranty to protect your covered home system. Don't worry, be warranty.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, ride your bike.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, smile big and bright.
Thousands of kids just like me are happy every day.
And it's all because of generous people like you who support Shriners Hospitals for Children every month.
All you have to do is call the number on your screen or go online to loveshriners.org right now with your monthly gift.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospitals for Children is able to make an everyday miracle happen for kids like me.
If you're happy and you know it, dance around. If you're happy and you know it, play a song.
If you're happy and you know it, and your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, take a shot.
And when you call or go online right now to donate $19 a month or more, we'll send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of all the smiles you're bringing to kids' faces every day.
Will today be the day you send your love to the rescue?
When you call the number on your screen right now and give as little as $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you'll be making a life-changing difference for a child, just like Sarah.
Your monthly gift today could change your life forever.
Because of you.
We are happy and we know it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please call or go online right now to give. If operators are busy, please wait patiently or go to loveshriners.org right away.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
And Jack, where's Jack? Where's Jack? Where is he? Jack, I want to see you. Great job, Jack. Thank you. What a job you do. You know, we have an incredible thing. We're always talking about the fake news and the bad, but we have guys, and these are the guys who should be getting Pulitzers.
All right, Jack Posobiec, we're here. Charlie Kirk, Studio, Phoenix, Arizona. We're on live with Eric Trump. We're talking about, of course, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, also Eric's book, which, the timing is eerie, Under Siege. Eric, where do we go from here? Where do we go next?
We never stop the fight. We do it in honor of Charlie. We do it because we have the greatest political movement in history, a movement that's saving this country. When I saw Eric out there the other day, when she did that press conference right after the assassination, I have never seen somebody who was more direct, more powerful. That was the epitome of strength. And when I hear she was obviously unanimously voted in to continue to run Turning Point, like, it puts the greatest smile on my face, and, in an otherwise miserable week for so many people who obviously love Charlie and the movement that he created. But listen, they want us off that stage. They don't want me on that stage. They don't want me to do the thousands of rallies that I did. They don't want Charlie. They didn't want Charlie to do the rallies that he did. They don't want my father on that stage, which is why they took the shot at him. They don't want Don on that stage. They don't want you on that stage. They don't want Benny Johnson on that stage. I could keep going down the list of incredible people who have been warriors in this movement. I mean, we were like the outcast crew. Right? I mean, we didn't have the platforms. We didn't have anything. We didn't have the CNNs. We didn't have the ABCs. We didn't have the CBSs. We ended up being the loudest voice. We ended up being the loudest voice. So they wanted to stop this movement, and we will never, ever allow them to stop us. And we'll get on that stage, and we'll do so bravely. We all know it's dangerous. And we'll honor Charlie, and we'll continue to, his legacy, but we'll continue the greatest political movement that fights for God and country and Constitution and everything that's great about red, white, and blue, and frankly, a country that leads the world and leads peace and prosperity and saneness around the globe, and we will keep the United States the #1 superpower in the world.
That's right. The book is Under Siege. Eric Trump, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Jack.
All right, folks, special honor here in studio. And, come around this side. Ladies and gentlemen, he's destroying the set now. We have Tucker Carlson joining us in person.
Jack! I left my glasses on the set, so I'm glad to be back. Good to see you.
That's the only reason you came back, of course. What do you think, man?
Oh, I have so many thoughts. It's been one of those weeks where it's just like you're just right to the edge. Here's what I think. I think that I've spent like 3 or 4 days feeling rage and confusion, suspicion, anger at people I know. It's basically division. And here's where I've arrived as of last night. I flew across the country here, so I had a lot of time to think.
Thank you for that.
Oh, no, my gosh, I should have come earlier, but it was just, I should have. But anyway, I think that whatever this is the face of evil, and that's kind of enough for me. It doesn't mean the government doesn't have to get to the bottom of it. Of course they do, and, I wish I had more confidence that they will, but I want to push that. But on some level, the deepest level, I don't know how much that matters. What matters is that I know that Charlie was murdered because he was proclaiming Jesus. I believe that. He was not a physical threat to anyone. He was a completely nonviolent person and a truly decent person, as you know better than most. And he was killed because of his message. And I think we should all just internalize that. And of course, the answer is to proclaim the message louder and to live the message by loving other people. And I'm not in any way saying that, it doesn't matter, the details don't matter. They very much do. But the big picture matters most. And I just want to keep that in mind.
There's something about how it's like, they tried to paint Charlie, the media, whatever, they try to paint him as this hate monger, Nazi, misogynist, and all the rest. And then you see him on campus and you see him with his family. And it's like, this is the nicest guy. He's the purest guy. And I feel like, in a way, that's why he's the one they targeted.
Well, of course.
That's why.
And by the way, that's another thing that I've been thinking a lot about, is that the nature of evil is slander, of course. It's deception. It's lying about other people to harm them. And physical violence is the natural outgrowth of that, of course. But fundamentally, evil is slanderous. And I should probably stop being shocked by it every time I see slander, because I know a lot of the people involved, and I'm involved. So I know what slander is because I can compare it to the truth, which I know. And every single time I'm like, I can't believe they're saying that about, somebody. That's slander. I'm so shocked and angry. It's like, why am I shocked? That's the nature of it. And we have an obligation.
The devil is the father of lies.
Well, exactly. Thank you. That's exactly right. Lucifer is the father of lies. That's just true. And I'm not saying that everyone who's slandering somebody is Satan, but they are tools of evil for sure, as we all are from time to time, by the way. But I shouldn't be shocked at all. What did you think this was? That's the nature of the world. And our job is not to marinate in it or stare at it like a solar eclipse to the point where we go blind. Our job is to fight it with the truth and with love. And not abstract love, but actual love, the kind that helps other people, that elevates other people. And the actual truth, the deepest truth.
I got, in the wake of the Minneapolis massacre, because of course this is not the first act of evil that we've seen so far this month, and we saw this narrative coming out, and you had very prominent people, including the governor of California, saying, don't pray. Right, you had this sort of "don't pray" message, and
that is the message, right?
Really,
yeah.
And I don't usually go to this place publicly, but I just said there's too much of this, and I came out. I said, prayer causes pain to demons. It causes pain,
of course.
This is why, and when people gather, and when people hold church services, when they hold mass, when they conduct gatherings of prayer, this causes immense pain to evil. And so who would want you to stop praying?
Of course.
Right? And then I said that, and that kind of went out, and media got mad at me. I don't care. And then when this act of evil happened to Charlie, there was a spontaneous call to action. And Charlie was, of course, known for his calls to action. We're doing this, we're doing the ballots, we're doing whatever we're doing. But this was a spiritual call to action that everyone heard.
Right.
And what did people do? They gathered and prayed completely spontaneously, completely independently, which Charlie would have been thrilled about, by the way. But everyone knew on some deep, inherent level, we need to get together and pray right now.
Yeah, physically get together.
And I don't know how you can separate that from these ideas that we are in a literal spiritual war.
Yeah.
And this is playing out. It's spilling over into reality now. And it's just so obvious to me.
And we always have been.
I don't know how you can deny it.
Well, it's just like, I had a close friend who had an alcoholic spouse, and they got divorced, and everyone was like, your wife was a really bad alcoholic. And he's like, I honestly didn't know. I was too close to it. And that is a feature of human nature, that we don't see the biggest things that are the closest to us. We just can't see their outlines because they are, again, too close. And I think the nature of the eternal battle between good and evil is one of those things. I mean, it's always been this way. It's always been this way from the beginning of time, and we just haven't acknowledged it since 1945 because we imagined we were gods because we had atomic weapons. But it doesn't make it any less real. And so you sort of retroactively go through your life and you're like, oh, that's what that was. I didn't even know it at the time.
That was the serpent.
100%. And there's not one of us who can't identify moments in our own lives where we've been tools of evil. I just want to keep saying that. The core Christian prayer, the Lord's Prayer given to us by Jesus, at its essence, at its center, is forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Why is it in that order? Because in order to forgive, it's very helpful to be mindful of our own shortcomings, our own sins.
Yes.
We're not in a place to judge. We are commanded to forgive as a condition of our own forgiveness. So that is kind of the conclusion you reach if you're really honest about what's happening. Like, yes, this has always been the actual battle. All the nonsense that we are mad about is just a manifestation of that. And we should see it in those terms because we should always be honest. Always be honest. And the more honest you are, the more courageous you become. You are filled with holy power when you are honest, period. The truth is, I'm resorting again to cliches and Bible verses, but it does set you free. When you determine, when you make the decision internally, I'm not going to lie anymore, you become so much more powerful. Like you can feel it because it's God's power. And one of the things the first thing we should be honest about always is ourselves.
And honesty is always a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a
Tucker,
decision.
We've got a quick break.
Yep.
Hold that thought because that's perfect. We'll be right back. Jack Posobiec, Tucker Carlson, Human Events Daily.
Yep, your worst nightmare. Your car broke down. Now you're worried if it's going to cost you a fortune in repair bills. Unless you already called CarShield, the legit #1 auto protection company in the country. When you're protected with a plan through CarShield, the process is smooth like ice and done in as little as 3 steps. 1. First, the tow truck takes your car to the shop. The cost of towing, covered when you got a plan through CarShield. Next, you'll probably need to get around while your vehicle's being repaired, right? 2, plans through CarShield have rental car options too. Then comes the best part. 3, when you pick up your vehicle, you don't have a big repair bill to worry about. CarShield administrators get your covered repairs paid directly to the shop, so you're back on the road with no worries. Call now to get an affordable plan through CarShield for your vehicle before it's too late. When you call CarShield, whether you got a small problem like a power window motor that could cost a few $100s, or a big problem like an engine or transmission that could cost you thousands of dollars, you're taken care of. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the country, and their administrators have paid out more than $1 billion in auto repairs. That's billion with a B. CarShield is the choice that gives you the CarShield guarantee. Your rate never goes up, and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Look, it's inevitable. As your car or truck ages, the parts and components are gonna fail. It's not worth the risk. Call CarShield now.
Waiting until your car breaks down is too late. Call CarShield for coverage on up to 5,000 parts and get the CarShield guarantee, where your rate never goes up and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Call 800-653-8201. 800-653-8201.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again.
Please scan the QR code to donate $10 or more to support these American patriots.
Thank you for standing in the gap.
Jack is a great guy. He's written a fantastic book. Everybody's talking about it. Go get it. And he's been my friend right from the beginning of this whole beautiful event. And we're going to turn it around and make our country great again. Amen.
Jack Posobiec back live, Human Events Daily, Charlie Kirk studio. We're here with Tucker Carlson. We have breaking news. And this is, I believe, some kind of filing. And so Tucker, I'd love to get your first take on this, because we're literally just talking about it, that the attempted assassin of Justice Brett Kavanaugh, which is one that nobody talks about anymore. Yep. I believe this is the one he was outside the house. He had zip ties. He had a firearm. He was wanting to go in. And by the way, multiple zip ties, because Brett Kavanaugh was there with his wife and children, yep, and standing outside his house. Then something comes over him. He called, if I remember correctly, he called 911 on himself and said, "Come pick me up before I do something that I shouldn't do," yes, which is very tied into what we're talking about.
Of course. People are captive, actually.
He has just come out as trans.
Yep.
And Nicholas Roski has filed a name change to Sophia Roski.
Yep, of course.
And I'm not sure, I believe it's Maryland, so I'm not sure exactly what level of facility he is in. He is being represented by a federal public defender for the District of Maryland, and has petitioned not only for the name change, but I imagine will be petitioning for a sex change. Tucker, why does this keep happening?
Well, I mean, when I was a child growing up in Southern California, a totally secular world that worshipped Sigmund Freud and, Jonas Salk and
those guys never got anything wrong.
Yeah, the heroes of my youth.
Of course.
The idea was that every civilization in history has been super uptight about sex for irrational reasons, probably because they were badly toilet trained, and that's all insane, and there's nothing bad about sex, and there couldn't possibly be a vector for sin, and what? And I completely believe that, actually, 'cause that's the world I was raised in. I didn't know anyone who didn't think that. And my life has been a process of realizing that that's totally wrong. It's not just the trans stuff, by the way. It's all sexual sin. Sex is a direct express route to your soul. I mean, that's the joy of sex, is you expose your deepest parts to another person.
Well, in fact, all the 7 deadly sins are desires that we have that are directly tied to our soul.
Exactly.
And then when those desires are overindulged, I don't just mean gluttony, but all of them.
Or they go in the wrong direction.
So there's there's love, agape, sexual love,
yep,
within the bounds of marriage to create the family. But if that gets overindulged, it becomes lust.
Well, yeah, and there was a reason people were really afraid of sex. Of course, everyone loves sex. Who doesn't love sex? But they understood that it was like nitroglycerin, it could cure heart patients, but it could also blow up the building. Right. It's a volatile thing, and you have to keep it within certain bounds.
And the chemotherapy, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And the trans thing is obviously evil. Of course, it destroys the people who engage in it. By the way, we're not just the victims. The real victims are the trans people, of course, because evil flows through people and it destroys them as it does. No one gets out of that alive. But it's not just the trans stuff. That's just the kind of final, it's come to fruition. But it's all the sexual sin destroys people, and it destroys your society. And that's why no society has ever had the view that was common in La Jolla, California in 1980, which is, hey, man, none of it's a big deal. It is a very big deal. It's the biggest deal. Paul talks about this quite a bit, not just because he was sexually repressed Pharisee or something, because it's true, and everyone's always recognized it's true. So we need a radical rethinking of how we treat sex. And it doesn't mean judging people. It doesn't mean hurting people. It doesn't mean putting people in prison or anything like that. It just means telling the truth about what sex is, which is the root of procreation, the place where life begins, literally. And so it's the most powerful, important thing. Marriages without it die, of course. So it's a good thing, but it can destroy not just people, but a civilization. And that has happened to ours. There's no doubt in my mind at all.
You look at the 1960s, the counterculture, right? This was the first thing. You get rid of God and you massively expand sex.
Of course. And you also see it at the heart of every, violent cult, for example.
Of course.
I mean, the Manson family was all about, dropping acid and having orgies. The Jonestown cult had sexual weirdness including bisexuality at the core of it. That's just a fact. And
Jonestown also had a lot of critical race theory that people.
It had a lot of bad things, but I'm just saying that sexual perversion accelerates everything because it gets right to the core of people. It's not an intellectual exercise.
It messes with your hormones. It can mess with your brain chemistry. You send your signals.
They're all the physical manifestations. AIDS.
My co-author Joshua Lysek, he had this great, so he's a trained hypnotist as well, and he talked about hypnosis and trance-like states, and he was talking about pornography, and he said, what do people do when they're watching pornography? They put themselves into a trance-like state.
Of course.
In order to
I don't understand why conservatives who haven't really done a lot, no offense, to make America better, why not just treat like the people who run OnlyFans and the porn sites as like enemies, because they are? Why not just say that? Like, why is that so hard? If you can't even do that, if you can't say like turning like a huge number of young American women into prostitutes is bad and call out the people who are getting rich from it, then what are you doing here exactly? And they're totally incapable of doing that. And I don't know why. I don't want to attack anybody, but like, that's table stakes. Are you kidding?
And like, we're supposed to actually be conservative, right?
Well, if you can't say the people who run OnlyFans are bad and they're getting rich on slavery, sex slavery, which basically it is.
Yes.
Then what do you, I don't know, go do something else. But like, don't be in the commentary business. Don't tell me you're conservative. If you can't say porn isn't like a locus of evil, way more dangerous than Iran. Which is more dangerous to America, porn or Iran? It's not even a close call. Stop with your bullshit. I don't want to hear any more of that. Like, I don't get, anyway, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm obviously mad at a bunch of trends that are not being addressed adequately. But what I'm really saying is,
no, but you're right, because we can see this direct line between these types of top of funnel elements in our society, and that are, by the way, supported and allowed and celebrated in many cases. Oh, I did 500. Oh, I did 1,000 in one day. I'm going to break your record. And like the media is like playing into it.
Well, right.
Like
but it goes to a larger thing, which is like blaming other people. I mean, and I would even say this, I'm often attacked for like, focusing on Israel or whatever. Obviously, we can't be controlled by a foreign government. That's terrible. On the other hand, our problems are not Israel's fault. They're not Iran's fault. They're not Russia's fault. They're not China's fault. They're our fault, actually.
They're our fault.
And that is the truth.
Yes.
And if you are constantly blaming other people, I wouldn't put up with that in my kids. If I say, hey, why'd you do this? Well, because so-and-so made me. Oh, stop. That's not allowed in my house. We don't allow that.
And that's what Charlie was all about.
Yes.
Charlie was all about
and that. So, like, if you live in a world where people in your high school class are on OnlyFans, I'm not attacking those poor people who feel they have to do that or have been misled into doing it. But the people profiting from it are more dangerous and evil than Iran. And they're certainly more of an imminent threat to your country. Are you joking? It's not even close. So let's just reorient around honesty and truth and try to create a meaningful hierarchy of concern and threat. And the number one threat that we face is people becoming bad. That's the worst thing. You can't have a good country with bad people. And all of us have participated in that bad, including me.
And by the way,
we should say that.
The pre-1945 America, the It's a Wonderful Life America, which was made, obviously, I think right around that time frame, they all understood this. Those are all called out in that film.
Because they didn't have nuclear weapons, so they couldn't tell themselves they were God.
Everyone who watched it completely understood. Tucker, I could do this for several more hours. We'll have to do that at some point. But our time is unfortunately up. You'll be there Sunday.
Jack, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
We got to do this for Charlie.
Amen.
And that's really all it comes down to. And God bless Erica and the strength that she has.
She's an amazing person. And that's real.
I'm just so happy that she's.
Oh, yeah. And say prayers for her. I mean, there's the difficult, whatever, life is struggle, period.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you have my permission.
It's just like our new house. I hope you have an American Home Shield warranty. Leaky toilet? Fixed. Oven beyond repair? If AHS can't fix your covered item, then replace it, no matter its age. Sign up today at ahs.com.
Hello, my friend. Pat Boone here. You know our country's under financial assault like never before. Our government has put us $34 trillion in debt. The interest alone's more than we spend on military defense. And what's worse, other countries no longer believe the U.S. is a safe place to invest. There's a growing international movement to dump U.S. dollars at a record pace. Some economists say this may signal the end of the dollar. Now, these countries are instead buying gold, and I'm suggesting you do the same. My friends at Swiss America have been helping Americans like you and me for over 40 years to buy physical gold and silver for delivery to our homes or help.